पता है दिस इज नॉट एन एंटरटेनमेंट शो, इट इज अ ट्रांसफॉर्मेशनल शो. ठीक है, अब मैं यहाँ पर व्हाट आई कैन डू इज, हरे कृष्ण, I can actually give a lot of information to you, but that information is, if it's not bringing transformation in you, then shramaha evahi kevalam is a useless waste of time. Not mine, I mean we're doing it anyway, it's your waste of time. So please ask. I'm not just saying to Rohan, I'm telling to everyone, I'm just welcoming him. But thank you very much for coming. So what we will do is we will get on to this topic, does God exist, are Vedas myth? So we discussed last time, why do people believe in God? We discussed, some people, they believe in God for their own, desires, fulfillment. Some people wants to worship God because my friend is doing it, out of social pressure. A lot of different ways people believe in God. Then we actually looked at scientific proof of God's existence. आपने से किसी को याद है? What are the 4 proofs? What is the first proof? Huh?
The universe,
yes.
Creator.
Sea Lord.
Yes, Sea Lord.
Yeah. What was the C for? Creator. So creation needs implies there is a creator. We discussed that in detail. We took lots of examples last week. The second one is L. What is L for?
law keeper.
Law implies a lawmaker. If there is a law, somebody has to have. If there is a law, we know that somebody has made it. If there is a creation, somebody, Mridanga yahan pada hai, somebody has made it. It doesn't appear out of thin air, hai na? So creation implies creator, law implies lawmaker. What is OR? Organizer. Very nice. So organization means somebody has organized it. And we discussed in length about how amazingly this whole world is organized. And we heard Young Sheldon. How many of you have watched Young Sheldon?
Just the clip. Just the clip.
But you have never watched the TV series? Yeah. How many of you actually watched the TV series? Okay, not many. I mean, do you have the full concept of who Sheldon is and all those other things? So, Sheldon is a character in Big Bang Theory, and young Sheldon is his younger version. So, awesome. So we discussed कि हाँ, for every creation, अगर सूरज 1 centimeter भी नजदीक होता, life would not exist. 1 centimeter भी दूर होता, तो life would not have existed. So there is certain kind of thing that is organizing this, and organization implies an organizer. What is D? Design. Yes. Design. What does it mean? Design implies a designer. If there is a design, and what design we discussed last time? Did we discuss any design? Give me a design that you see in cosmos that you think is an amazing design. Yes. The solar system is an amazing design. Yes. Precise movements, and we can actually predict next 100,000 years तक solar system में कौन सा planet कौन से direction में जा रहा है, कहाँ पर होगा, उसकी position क्या होगी. In 100,000 years we know. This is how precise the laws are. And we discussed these are the 4 things that we discussed. Okay? Now we're going to talk about today reasons why people don't believe in God. So I think we touched on it last time. First, people say there is no proof. Then second, this is the reason. If there is no proof, I don't want to believe in God. Yeah, which is simple, which is very normal. It's logical as well. Second is, I have not seen Him. You show me God. I can see everything. Whatever I can see, I believe. You show me and I will believe you. And the third one is, how can God allow so many sufferings? अगर आपका भगवान है, तो ऐसा क्यों है? दुनिया बनाने वाले क्या तेरे मन में समाई. माइक का दूसरा. हाँ, प्रभु, Arna, we're gonna do Arna and me. We're gonna read some things for you guys, with you guys. So We will talk about. So बोले भगवान आपने ऐसे कौन से भगवान है तुम्हारे, ऐसा कौन सा भगवान है जो इतना गाजा में there so many kids are died, and I've discussed these stats with you. If we have to attend a funeral of a child in Gaza जो अभी they passed away, it will take us 43 years if we attend one funeral every day. It will take us 43 years just to attend funeral of these kids who were killed in Gaza. Okay? So much of suffering. How can God allow that? Okay? So please listen carefully, because this is a discussion. We will have two scenarios. There are two friends from college campus, and I want you to. We'll do first scenario, and then I will let you guys get this sink in first. Okay? All right. Start.
2 atoms and 1 oxygen make water.
Can you loud?
Yes, loud.
2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom make water.
Atoms? You can't even see these little things, and you want me to believe that putting a few of them together, out comes water? Give me a break.
It's a fact. 2 atoms of a hydrogen and 1 of oxygen make water.
I'll believe it when I see it. Prove it to me.
All right.
You're crazy. You can never prove it.
I can prove it to you. Just come to my laboratory and experiment.
Yeah, right. You're now the laboratory, huh? You want me to go into your lab and do your experiment your way?
No,
That's just
no.
brainwashing.
If you just take a look down in this microscope.
I'm not going to do any of those crazy rituals that you're asking me to do. I'm not going to look into your microscope. What are you trying to convert me? You people are nuts. You believe in all sort of crazy things. 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen makes water. What a joke.
I can show it to you if only you agree to take a look through this microscope.
I will never follow your rules. I told you, you can't prove anything to me. Now think about it. What was the discussion? Simple. 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen makes water. You know, chemistry mein, people know. But somebody is saying that is rubbish. And I'm saying, and my friend is saying, I will show you. I said, no. I can't do you. I want you to show me, but I'm not going to follow what you're trying. I'm not going to follow your procedure, but I want you to prove it. All right, another scenario. Now I want you. This is the first one, was a purely scientific scenario. Everybody understood, and that's why I use the word rituals. Rituals means procedures. Okay. Another scenario. Start.
God exists. If we focus our efforts and devotion on God, our lives will become more sublime.
What? What did you just say? God? This mythological character you can't even see. Worship him and you feel dandy. You expect me to believe that?
It's a fact. God exists. We become complete beings through devotion of God.
Yeah, whatever. I believe it when I see it. Prove it to me.
All right.
You've gone bonkers. You can never prove that.
I can prove it to you. Just come into the laboratory and do the experiment. The first step is to remove the blindfold of attachment to the...
Oh no, not the lab again. You want me to come to your lab and carry out some silly experiment your way? That's again brainwashing.
No, just begin chanting the holy names.
I'm not going to do any of this. Forget it. What are you trying to do? Convert me? You people are nuts. Believing in gods and spiritual worlds and whatnot. Spare me. You can't show me God.
I'll show you. Allow me to explain.
Just show me God.
I'm trying to tell you where to look.
I'll never follow your dogmatic rules. You just can't prove anything to me. Thank you very much, Anna. Does it make sense? Look, think about, can we see the fallacy of putting a cart before the horse or demanding God appear before us even before becoming qualified? It is illogical and unscientific to request an observation before the procedure. We want to observe, but we don't want to follow procedure. In science, it's needed. But spirituality की बात आती है, we don't want to, because it's my way or highway, So anyone who becomes qualified is bound to see the Supreme Creator. Now there is no proof. So now there are 4 common reasons. Okay, we've done this one. Let's listen. Let's look at this. Is it loading or not?
No.
Can you put the volume up, bro? Is there a button? Yeah.
If you... No, it went back.
I need someone to fix it somehow. Why is it not working? Is the internet on?
Do you want to connect to my hotspot?
Actually, no, sorry. I was connected to something else. Now I'm connected to this place. Alright. Should be fine now.
It's happened in the religious communities. You see people who are brought up in religious homes and they're taught the stories of the Bible. They're never taught any deeper philosophy or theology that attaches to that. So they have sort of a children's eyes view of what God is and how to think about God, sort of think of God still as the old man in the sky who's controlling things. What in your opinion is the most reasonable proof of God? What have you found to be the most convincing proof of God's existence?
Well, I think that those are two questions. For me, my favorite argument for the existence of God that I find the most compelling is a version of the cosmological argument, which goes like this. Whatever begins to exist has a cause. Something can't just come into being from nothing. Secondly, the universe began to exist. I think we have both good philosophical argument.
It's loading. Just internet.
Technologically paralyzed. I'm good. No. No, if I press the back button, then we have to start from again. That's okay. Leave it. That's okay.
Yeah, I hope it's connected to the network. You can connect to the other.
Oh, you are right. May have connected to the other network. No, it's connected to. Alright.
That's what I was telling you.
I'm really technologically disabled offline. Bro, I'll grab yours here.
Yeah.
This one.
What is your just iPhone?
Yeah, iPhone कर लो bro.
This one. Nirmal's iPhone.
Okay. Got it. Sorry guys.
One of the things I think that's happened in the religious community is you see people who are brought up in religious homes and they're taught the stories of the Bible. They're never taught any deeper philosophy or theology that attaches to that. So they have sort of a children's eyes view of what God is and how to think about God, sort of think of God still as the old man in the sky who's controlling things. What in your opinion is the most reasonable proof of God? What have you found to be the most convincing proof of God's existence?
Well, I think that those are two questions. For me, my favorite argument for the existence of God that I find the most compelling is a version of the cosmological argument, which goes like this. Whatever begins to exist has a cause. Something can't just come into being from nothing. Secondly, the universe began to exist. I think we have both good philosophical arguments and scientific evidence for the finitude of the past, from which it follows, third, therefore the universe has a cause. And when you do a conceptual analysis of what it is to be a cause of the universe, you arrive at a being which is an uncaused, beginningless, timeless, spaceless, enormously powerful, personal creator of the universe. So for me, that is a very convincing argument for God. But I find that with university students, that's not the most convincing argument. You can ignore philosophical arguments for the finitude of the past or scientific evidence for the beginning of the universe. But the argument that they find, I think, the most compelling is what I call the moral argument. And it would go like this. One, if God does not exist, then objective moral values and duties do not exist. That is to say, in the absence of God, everything becomes socioculturally relative. Two, but objective moral values and duties do exist. There are some moral absolutes, some objective values and duties. 3, therefore God exists. Now, this is an argument which is impossible, I think, to ignore, because every day you get up, you answer by how you treat other people, whether you regard them as having intrinsic moral value or whether they are mere means to be used for your ends. And so this argument, I find, tends to be the most convincing for people.
So, we will discuss this in detail, but first let's go to the one discussion that we had last week. So, creation needs a creator, law needs a lawmaker, organization needs an organizer, a designer needs an intelligent designer, and we looked at these things. Can these things come automatically? If not, then these things cannot come automatically as well. There has to be a creator, and law employs lawmaker, and then we discussed laws of physics, we discussed laws of mechanics, we discussed proof of existence of God as an organizer. We discussed that, Thomas Alva Edison made the bulb and God made that bulb, and you can see the power of this bulb and that bulb, there's a difference. And then we discussed, we have water tanks on the ceiling, on the rooftops in India, but these are the water tanks, they're floating, they're, airplane proofs water tank. This is created by someone who is absolutely amazingly more powerful than any of us can ever be. Then we discussed for every organization there's an organizer. We spoke about Tim Cook, the CEO, and then we discussed amazing designs of how the atom is designed. We discussed this hummingbird, how incredibly amazing this little bird is, what she can do. We discussed a little bit of cell design, and then we ultimately means what is the proof of existence of God? An intelligent design needs a designer. So these are the 4 principles that we discussed last week. So today, scientific, there are 4 reasons we discussed this one. Or there's another thing is the universe. So for example, this is the one thing that we discussed, and then we'll go on to the scientific proof or challenges of the God's existence. So, for example, what is the purpose of this mic? What is the purpose of this mic? Yes.
Make your voice pitched higher.
And what would that do?
Allow everybody in this room to hear.
Yes, very good. How about the purpose of this Mridanga? Who's got the mic? What is the purpose of Mridanga? Wait. Yeah.
To send vibrations into your heart and then
Wow, he's gone on philosophical. Incredible. Right. Yeah, and good. I actually really like that. That's really good.
This is how he thinks actually.
That's what I'm saying. He's gone all philosophical straight away. That's really good. Incredible. Okay, what is the purpose of this TV?
So you can watch stuff.
You can watch stuff. That's it.
And play video games to display whatever you want.
Yeah, to display. What else? Okay, so this has everything that we see has some sort of purpose. Yeah. So if and what scientists say that everything in the universe has a purpose except for one thing. You know what that one thing is? This universe. Everything inside the universe has a purpose. Scientists believe it, and they actually really know it is true. But what they don't believe in is universe has a purpose. No, it's not. It doesn't have a purpose. It just exists, which is absolutely, it doesn't work. Have you seen any machine without a purpose? This means the universe also has some purpose. Now we will talk about the purpose of the universe as well. So at the moment, we were going to talk about the 2 challenges. Can you show me God and who created God? I think there are 4 people last class. 4 people asked me this question. I want to know, yes, God created everything according to you, but who created God? I said, yeah, we'll discuss in the next class. So we'll discuss that today. So for example, if someone says, can you please show me God? The first question, I'll give you an example. Modi is already elected as a Prime Minister? Yes? Done, yeah? If I want to meet Modi, and I will say, hey, Anuprabhu, I want to see Modi now. If you don't show me Modi, then I won't believe he's a prime minister. I won't even believe he exists. I want to meet him. Show me Modi. So Prabhu can show me on a phone. He's Modi. So no, I want to talk to him. I want to know whether he's a prime minister from his mouth. Show me. In order to meet a prime minister of a country, small country on one planet, which is just a tiny speck in the whole cosmos, I need to have what do I need to meet Modi? I need some sort of qualification, you know. I need, who are you? Who are you? Like, you know, the first question is, who are you? So, Modi se milne ke liye, I need appointment. And I need some sort of reason to meet. But God se milne ke liye, I don't care. Who is God? You know, God is superior or inferior to Modi? Think about it, you know. So, the first thing that you need qualification to do anything, let alone God, you know. If you can see God only if you can become qualified. And how do you become qualified? We will discuss that as well. Two things is important. One is you need to be qualified and you need to follow process. Abhi hum logon ne, me and Arna, when we discuss this, what is the problem? Scientists don't believe anything without the process. Say, hey, show me the workings, then I will believe you. However, when it comes to God, they don't want to see the workings. मेरा एक friend है, मुझे बोलता हो कि look, you know, I'm very glad that you are in spirituality. मैंने कहा क्यों भाई? बोले यार क्योंकि I think a lot of people who get scared, they go to God, and I'm really happy that now you are no longer scared because you are in spirituality. So उसको लग रहा है कि I am in spirituality because I'm scared, you know. फिर मैंने उसको धीरे से बोला यार I'm in spirituality because I'm married. It's the same thing, but it made more sense. Now, वो मुझे बोलता है कि नहीं यार, you know, you guys. So we used to hang out together, like, you know, 2003 से लेके I think 2014 that we used to hang out a lot. So he knows everything about me, I know everything about him, and you know he's seen. Then obviously I got into this path, and he's still there. And he was telling me, he was arguing with me, the path that you follow is rubbish. And I said, wow, like, you know, you must know. Like, obviously, where you're standing, I was there. And I've lived that life. But where I'm standing, you haven't lived this life. So how can your knowledge be a little bit better than mine? So, हम दोनों की बात करेंगे, तो the person who knows a little bit more is me. Because I know this side of and if you can't comment on this side until you come to this side, melody khao khud jaan jao. You know, you come to this side, try this spirituality, and then you can argue with me and say, hey Brijesh, I've been on your side, all rubbish. And then we'll argue, and you know, if I think that generally you're right and I've been brainwashed or whatever, then you know, I'll leave it. You know, why do I want to spend all this time in, you know, on a Friday night sitting here rather than, you know, somewhere in the pub, you know. It's better to be here anyway. So, and we discussed this, the thing that me and Arna did, that was actually really, really important. Now, we don't want to follow process, but we want to know it. That's a stupidity. Next we go to, how can you believe in a God that you cannot see? The principle that our scriptures talk about is called cause and effect. We do not see electricity, but we believe that it is flowing through the wires, don't we? If there is a fan moving, we know that something is moving that fan. Yeah? What is moving the fan? Electricity is moving the fan. If you see an arrow flying, you know, what do you infer? What is the inference? If you see an arrow flying, yeah. Now somebody has shot that arrow. You go really deep. Just stay. Abhi baki sare somebody has shot their arrow. That's why it's an. So because everyone is not on that level, so thoda sa niche socho. So if you see an arrow, it means somebody has shot that arrow. अपने आप अपीयर हो कि नहीं आगे कि oh there is an arrow, it doesn't matter, it just appeared out of a thin air. That's nobody says that. Somebody is behind that arrow. Look, हम लोग वो puppet show देखते थे राजस्थान में, तो खैर it's very famous. Puppet show देखते थे. So we don't see the puppeteer, we just see the puppets, and it's beautiful. And then you go on the back side and you see all these puppeteers. They have this either on in their fingers or उनके पास जो होता है क्या बोलते हैं उसको, whatever it is called, you know. So they have all of these things. So हमको पता है कि who puppeteers are not dancing on their own. Who is making them dance? Somebody is making them dance. So there is something is there which we don't see. Puppeteer we don't see, but that doesn't mean the puppeteer is not there. क्या देखो छोटे, have you seen छोटे छोटे इंसान लोग, they are dancing. There is no छोटे इंसान. Oh, I've seen it in, you know, puppet show. Those are puppets. So what? No one was doing anything. It was magically happening. No, it was not magic. Somebody was doing it. No, it was magic. Just because you can't see the puppeteer doesn't mean there is no puppeteer. Does it make sense? So, and there, in our scriptures, there is a verse, which I'm not going to go into that verse, but it says that unseen is proven by the seen, like the pearl. These are the pearl. Ab ye, it's not that these pearls are hanging in the ether. What's happening is there is a string inside it. You can't see the string. So just because you can't see the string doesn't mean that string does not exist. Okay? Now, for example, if I had a drawing, I think I left it on my kitchen table. Okay, suppose I have a drawing of a rose. फूल की rose की मेरे पास drawing है. If I show you what is this, you will say it is rose. But it's not rose, it's actually drawing of rose. लेकिन उसमें क्या है? It has length and breadth. It doesn't have depth नहीं है उसमें, because it's not 3D. But if I have अगर मैं एक कागज का वो बनाऊंगा, rose बनाऊंगा कागज का, then it will have all three, length, breadth, height, 3-dimensional. But उसमें क्या नहीं होगा? Smell नहीं होगी. जब मैं real rose लाऊंगा तो उसमें क्या क्या होता है? You can see 3D, and you can smell, and you can feel, exactly, and you can taste. You can feel the paper as well, and then you can taste. You can taste paper as well, and they have pollens as well. It has nectar as well, है ना? So we don't, just because we don't, and sun, we don't. I mean, if you go outside, there is no sun outside, is it? But does it mean sun doesn't exist? Where is the sun?
On the other side.
On the other side, yeah. Okay. पीछे वाली खिड़की पर.
On the other side of the wall.
On the other side of the wall. Okay. So just because we can't see, so there are some things that we cannot see, but we perceive them. Air we cannot see. Air we can't see, but we perceive it. So ये जो चीज है ना, show me God only, then I believe, this is all gone. इस argument से. Then the second thing that we get is obviously, show me God. So we need to know whether you are actually qualified to see the God, So we've discussed this one, So now, who created God? Now somebody will ask. We had few people ask me last time. What happens is, God is beyond space and time. It's very hard to understand. आपको पता है, according to the Einstein's theory of relativity, the space, this is the space, मेरे आपके बीच में जो चीज़ है, that's space. Now, for a microphone, this microphone has length, breadth, and height. It's got 3 dimensions, Einstein says that this has everything has 4th dimension, and the 4th dimension is time. And it's like, what? I know x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis पता है. And this is another axis, which is t-axis, which is called time. कहते हैं कि how this microphone looks like depends on how we are traveling with time. Now, if you go from Earth, so Earth में जो time का definition है क्या है कि how do you define 1 second in English? 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. So 1 Mississippi, that means that's 1 second. Now, if you go to near sun, the time will be different. If you go to a black hole, time will be completely different. from my perspective, अगर एक suppose अनूप प्रभु को हमने black hole में भेज दिया, अनूप प्रभु will disappear in black hole straight away. For us, हमें लगेगा वो तो चले गए अंदर. But Anup Prabhu, according to science, according to theory of relativity, Anup Prabhu will take millions of years to travel this much of a distance near the black hole. लेकिन वो हमारे लिए that time is microseconds. For him, that time is eternity. So now the time, एक तो ये तो time का dimension हम लोगों को समझ में आता नहीं है. Even Einstein actually said, we actually really don't know what is the speed of light. Exact speed of light अभी भी नहीं पता है. We have 3 to 10 to the power 8 meter per second, but that's not exact. Near है उसके, लेकिन it's not exact. Now space and time. Space क्या होता है? Now they say space can be bent. अगर मैं यहाँ हूँ, मेरे को उस कमरे में जाना है, तो I have to walk through this space to go to the कमरा. ठीक है? Now in science, there is called bending of space, where if this is the space, I have to go from here from here to the tip of my finger. There is a possibility that I can fold this space. Imagine, I can fold this space. So that means I can simultaneously be on this part of the house and on the door at the same time. Because what happened? I folded the space. Now it is very, very hard to understand. Now simply देखा जाए, God is not within this space. Just say, for example, a video game maker is outside the video game. You cannot say where is the video. कौन है जिसने video game बनाया? मेरे को क्यों नहीं दिख रहा है? Are you playing the video game? The person who has created is not in the video game. The person who has written the book is not in the book. Sometimes they are in the book. If they write autobiography, they are actually in the book. But usually they are physically not there. Now कोई बोलेगा, who created God? So, which is a very logical question. Who created God? For example, my dad helped create me. My dad was created by, he was born because of his father, and his father was born because of his father. When we get to a point where there is no father, that means that person existed before time, that is God. So, if someone has created God, the person who created God is God, not this person who was created. Does it make sense? So, it is such a, we asked that question, Murgi and Pehle hai ki anda. That same dilemma is mein. But one thing we have to remember, that God is actually eternal. It is very hard to understand. Now, I'm going to give you a very good example. Most of you are from science background, so you'll understand. The energy cannot be created or destroyed. We know that, yeah? For example, ये mic है, mic can be created and destroyed, but mic का जो material है, that cannot be created. Material can be transformed. ये plastic कहीं से बना है, we did some chemical reactions, दो chemicals मिले and they made a plastic and all those sort of things. But ultimately, when this mic is no longer there, the material will transform into something else. जब हम किसी चीज जैसे, if I have a paper, if I burn this paper, what will happen? This whole energy which is in the form of paper will transform into what?
Carbon.
Ash plus what? Heat plus light. Because jal raha hai, so it will release heat, release light, smoke and ash. It will become that. So that means it is the physical aspect of this is destroyed, but the ingredients not destroyed, they transformed. Similarly, God, अगर हम ये बोल सकते हैं कोई matter है, matter cannot be created or destroyed, then why are we looking for God's creator? Does it make sense? We are not looking for matter's creator, then why are we looking for God's creator? Because, if energy cannot be, matter के बारे में we can understand that it cannot be destroyed or created, then what we are looking for is actually probably not right. Energy and God are both eternal. And we can see this with this food chain that we're talking about. Now what we're going to go through is we're going to go through some Darwin's theory. So Darwin actually spoke about, सबसे पहले क्या था? Single cell organism था. ऐसे बोलो, एक single cell था. Then it divided. It became multi-cell organism. फिर वो complex वो बन गया, chromosomes में create हो गया, and then it became, सबसे पहले the water species were created. नहीं, सबसे पहले water है ना? हाँ. And then फिर क्या हुआ? Some of these water animals, they come outside in the land, और फिर वो land के animal बने. And then एक बार क्या हुआ? भालू था. भालू को मजा नहीं आ रहा था, तो he went back into the ocean and then he became a whale. I mean, अब मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, you will say like this is क्या कोई हैरी पॉटर की कहानी चल रही है. But that's what written in Darwin's theory. That's why it's not a law, it's called a theory, because you can't prove it. Darwin's theory successfully can explain other things, but they cannot explain to produce variation. They can produce breeding variations because dogs, जो हम लोग अभी dogs देख रहे हैं ना, they're actually not natural. None of these dogs are natural जो हम लोग घर पे देखते हैं. Actually, there were only, those wolves. They're actually from wolves. They made a breed, but dogs are still the same breed. You cannot make dog. कितना भी आप breed कर लो, you cannot have dog with wings. हमने थोड़े टाइम में scientists कर रहे हैं, and then suddenly you'll see this pig flying. If you see pigs flying, you just may need to understand that you need to, wash it off whatever you've taken. So genetic mutation produce variation, but not new species. Now, what is Darwin theory explain? How are the new species produced? According to Darwin, we are all coming from sea animals. So, जैसे वो change हो गई, क्या बोलते हैं ना? Fish change होते इंसान बन गया. There was this kid. He went to his father and he goes, "Papa, who are our ancestors?" So dad goes, "Monkeys," because Darwin theory, na? He goes, "Okay, yaar, monkeys, but I don't look like monkey." बोले, "You do look like monkey, you don't know as yet." ऐसे बोला. तो वो चला गया, उसको गुस्सा आया, मम्मी के पास गया, "मम्मी, who are our ancestors?" So मम्मी ने बोला, "We are coming from God. God is our ancestor." Because पापा बोले कि monkeys, बोले, "His generation coming from monkeys, you coming from my generation coming from God." So evolution, who created the species? Actually, कई लोग कहते हैं कि जिराफ की गर्दन लंबी इसलिए है because what happened was कि नीचे के पत्ते थे ना पेड़ के, वो सारे खत्म हो गए थे, तो उसको ऊपर जाना था. जिराफ कांट जंप, सो उसने क्या करा, धीरे धीरे कोशिश करता रह गया, और तब तक कोशिश करता गया जब तक उसकी गर्दन इतनी लंबी हो गई. And now, if you think about it, कि logically it's not possible. If all short-necked giraffe died in the drought, how did all the other short-necked animals survive? सिर्फ एक ही जानवर थोड़े जो पत्ते खाता है पेड़ के. So there are a lot of holes in this theory. Then fishes become land animals, and this land animal, the bear, went back into water and became whale. I mean, it's absolutely rubbish. When it talks about fossil records for how Darwin theory is false, there is a book called, it's available on Amazon as well. It's called Forbidden Archaeology. Yes, beta. Your question? You okay? Mike.
So like it's about a question about animals and all that. So like monkeys, how like gorillas, how are they strong? All they do all day is just eat, sleep, and yeah, that's all they do. How do they have muscles and beat a human being?
I have no idea. I'm so sorry. I don't know why do they have muscles. Obviously they have muscles because there's something they're doing which is giving them muscles. And they may not be just sitting around, I don't know. Huh? Yeah, ancestral. But his question is, where do the ancestors got it? Like, they don't work out. So they swing around on trees. See, there's your answer. What happened? Where is he going?
Call him back.
Come on, beta, come. Okay, get some water and come back, sit here. Thank you, well done. Objection handling. Okay, so fossil records show that Darwin's theory was false because, there was a time human beings and monkeys simultaneously existed millions of years ago. There's a book called Forbidden Archaeology by Dr. Krema, Krema. I strongly recommend you all should. It's available free on a PDF version online, but you should buy that book. It is one of the most interesting book I've ever read. It is Darwin theory ke chithade uda diye usne. It's like completely demolished it, completely from top to bottom. Anyway, so some people think that who created life? Chance. There is a big, massive scientific community who thinks that life comes from matter. So somehow what happened was, there are some amino acid. There are some amino acids, they come together and they created this single cell organism. And वो single cell से double हुआ, ऐसे evolution होता गया. Now, if this is possible, we know all about amino acids. There are, there is one person that I know, उसकी जो girlfriend है, she is working on a project. She is a research scientist and she is working on a project. They're actually creating they're creating fake meat. And how they're creating is, they get the skin cells of one animal and they culture them with amino acids and stuff. They create the meat with one cell this much. Now they were able to create a meat which is, the container is as big as this whole hall. And they are now, because Australian government said no to them. They said no, she's in Sydney. Australian government said, nah, we can't allow you to do this here. You can't sell this here as meat. So now they have got permission to sell it in Singapore. So they are actually doing that. Now, if you think about it, it is true. Amino acids, because this body is material. Yeah, we all know. The thing that helps this body appear to be live is what? It's some energy that is in there. Okay? जैसे ही that energy goes away, when we die, soul leaves the body, everything stops. Except for, कुछ time तक nails keeps growing, because there was a momentum already there, decomposition चल रहा था, hair a little bit grows a little bit, muscle contraction होता है. But otherwise nothing happens to the body. Body की सारी की liveliness चली जाती है as soon as they die. But in spite of the fact, I was talking to that girl and I said, so have you ever thought of creating something where, you can bring that meat to life? She goes, no, we're not even interested and I don't think it's possible. I said, what do you mean it's not possible? She goes, we're not looking for to create life. So मैंने उसको बोला, आप दो cells को मिला रहे हो, you're getting those cultured cells and you're creating the cells 2 से 4 में, 4 से 5 में divide हो रहे हैं. So obviously there is some sort of life in there. She goes, no, there is no life. मैंने कहा, so ethical dilemma आपका क्या है? बोले, we don't have any ethical dilemma because we don't talk about ethics in our field. We only talk about what can we do for a profit. Now, after talking to her, there is no research has ever been successful in order for them to add just through amino acids create some organic matter. अब ये वाला organic matter उन्होंने कैसे बनाया? एक सेल लिया, organic सेल लिया, उसी को divide करा, है ना, amino acids डाल के. सिर्फ amino acid को डाल के you can't even create a grain of rice through amino acid. So the first doubt is, why have scientists not created life in the laboratory? And there are at least 1,000 laboratories they're working on this, by the way. They're trying for so many years. Doubt 2, who created the genetic code? Nobody knows who created the genetic code. Genetic code is available only within a living cell. Nobody knows that. Now, doubt 3, who created emotions, intelligence, consciousness? All of those things we don't know. Now, there was this person who was trying to meditate. Father was saying, hey Ma, he was talking about Durga Ma. And his son sat next to him and he was thinking about his girlfriend. Hey Ma. So everybody has misconceptions of God. So we're going to talk about, some people think that God is what? Light. God is nature. God is light. Someone says God is nature. And there are some people, what they say? God is dead. So there was God is dead signed by Nietzsche. And then signed by God, Nietzsche is dead. So एक बार क्या हुआ, Srila Prabhupada, he was in Paris and he was giving a lecture in Paris and he goes, Alexander the Great, this was actual, I'm just paraphrasing, but this is what he said. He said, Alexander the Great, he used to call himself great. He used to say, no, not Alexander, Napoleon. Napoleon used to say, Napoleon is France. France is Napoleon. He used to say that. So Srila Prabhupada says, Napoleon used to say, Napoleon is France, France is Napoleon. He goes, France is here, where is Napoleon? You know? Because people think that I am eternal, but none of us are eternal. You know, some of you may say that that God, some rituals are God. Some people say God is actually some imagination. Most of the people think that God is definitely there are some slides missing. Just give me 1 second. No, actually, some say God is. So now, misconception. So we were talking about misconceptions of God. So 1 second. So, definition of God. Now we know that God के जो दो misconceptions थे हमने देख लिए हैं. Now there is a definition. So somebody says, what is the definition of father? So the guy goes, father is someone who pays. So somebody asked me, what is the definition of tears? He goes, this is the force used by the feminine brain to melt down the masculine will. So there are different definitions of different things. Definition of God is he is a supreme source. What does that mean? That means जिस चीज का कोई source नहीं हो, that is God. Everything else is a source. For example, पानी आ रहा है, नल में पानी आ रहा है. What is the source of that water? What is the source? Tell me. What is the source of that water? कहाँ से आ रहा है? ओशन से आ रहा है. ओशन में पानी कहाँ से आता है? ग्लेशियर्स में कहाँ से आया? पता नहीं. We have no idea. वहां तक जाके हमारी गाड़ी रुक जाती है. ठीक है? Because the source of all of this is ultimately God. है ना? Because somebody has created, somebody has put that ocean there. Some people say, the whole cosmos was a point, Big Bang Theory, There was a point था, there was a blast हुआ उसमें, and the point बहुत solid mass था. वो इतना dense mass था कि वो जैसे gravity होती ना, gravity जैसे वो इतना ज्यादा gravitational pull हो गया था कि वो अपने आप को shrink करता गया और वो इतना shrink हो गया कि pressure ज्यादा बढ़ गया, then it blasted, and that's how universe came. ठीक है, अगर हम मान लेते हैं, चलो ठीक है, this ऐसा हुआ है. वो lump कहाँ से आया? Who created that? That who created that is supreme source. Now for example, ये जो घर है, इस घर को बनाने के लिए जो सामान था, बॉबी प्रभु ने वो सामान खरीदा. He paid for that सामान. He paid for the people to build it. ठीक है. अब सपोज जो बना रहा है, वो क्या, जिस भी बिल्डर ने बनाया, उसने बना के और उसने लॉक चेंज करके अंदर रह रहा है. वो बॉबी प्रभु क्या कर रहा है? मैंने बनाया, मेरा है. बॉबी प्रभु नहीं है, बट सामान तो मैंने दिया था सारा. एवरीथिंग आई पेड. नो, मैं बनाया तो मैंने ही है ना. ऐसा नहीं चलता है. द पर्सन who is the proprietor, like who is the source, is the person who's the owner, who actually paid for it. So who is the proprietor? Prabhu is the proprietor of this house, है ना. और proprietor का क्या मतलब होता है? Somebody who owns it. एक बार क्या हुआ, अपने there is a प्रभु, उनका नाम मैं भूल गया. He was sharing this story. एक बार वो मुंबई लोकल में जा रहे थे. So this guy was sitting, पूरी पैक्ड ट्रेन थी. तो उसने क्या करा, उसके पास बैग था, तो उसने देखा ऊपर जगह है, तो he got up to put the bag. तो कोई और आके बैठ गया. तो उसने बोला कि ये तो सीट मेरी है. तो उसने बोला कहाँ लिखा है? बोले नहीं, मैं सामान रखने के लिए खड़ा हुआ था. तो बोले हाँ ठीक है, अब तो मैं बैठा हूँ यहाँ पर. तो आदमी ने बोला कि it's not your fault. Your parents have not given you, कोई लक्षण नहीं दिया आपको. And he goes, बाप पे कैसे जा रहा है तू? And then suddenly they started quarreling, fighting, and they both stood up and started fighting with each other. अब तीसरा बंदा आके बैठ गया, है ना. Now करीब around 20-25 मिनट से वो आर्ग्यू करते रहे. फिर दोनों का स्टेशन आ गया, दोनों स्टेशन पे उतर गए और स्टेशन पे लड़ाई कर रहे, है ना. So the train is gone, the station is gone, but the लड़ाई is still on, है ना? So उनको क्या लग रहा है? Because वो सीट भी गई. He thought that I am the proprietor of that seat, है ना? एक बार क्या हुआ? This man, he says, I am the boss of this house. This male guy says, I am the boss of this house, and I have a permission from my wife to say so. So who is the boss? The wife is the boss. This can go to my wife. This recording can go to my wife. So proprietorship comes when you are the source. So who is the proprietor? Who जहाँ से चीज आ रही है, only that is the proprietor. So who is the proprietor? Is God is the proprietor, where everything is coming from. And the third definition of God is supreme enjoyer. ठीक है? Suppose एक होटल ओनर है, इसने बहुत बड़ा अपना होटल बनाया. होटल ओनर है, he is living in the hotel, he's enjoying the hotel, like he's enjoying the income from the hotel, but the servants are living in the hotel as well, है ना? जो प्रसाद होटल का ओनर खा रहा है, वही प्रसाद उसका नौकर भी खा रहा है ना? So but अगर वो नौकर समझने लगे कि मैं ही मालिक हूं, that's true, that's not right ना, it's not right. आपको खाने को मिल रहा है, that doesn't mean you're the owner. You are not the enjoyer. Enjoyer is the actual owner, proprietor. जो source है और जो proprietor है, only that can be enjoyer. But ऐसा नहीं है, मतलब क्या बोलते हैं कि एक बार क्या हुआ? There was this thief that came into the house. Husband wife सो रहे थे, तो wife ने बोला, लगता है चोर आया है किचन में. तो husband बोलता है, यार अब घर में तो कुछ है ही नहीं, क्या लेके जाएगा यार, सोने दे मेरे को. कहता नहीं, वो ने कल रात को केक बनाया है, पुलिस को फोन करो, वो केक नहीं ले जाए. बोले फिर पुलिस को नहीं, एम्बुलेंस को फोन करना पड़ेगा. If he's eating, he's gonna eat your cake, we have to call the ambulance, है ना? Because he thought he was the controller, So next thing that comes out, definition of God is supreme controller, है ना? अब suppose everybody has different control. For example, एक गाय बंधी हुई है, ठीक है? एक गाय बंधी हुई है, उसका कितना कंट्रोल है? जितनी उसकी रस्सी है ना? So जितनी लंबी उसकी रस्सी है, उस सर्कमफरेंस में के अंदर उसका सारा कंट्रोल है. उसके बाहर वो गाय नहीं जा सकती, ठीक है? So अगर देखो कि a person in that, एक बार क्या हुआ कि एक बंदा था, वो कहता टेंपल में, जुहू टेंपल की बात है, वो मायावादी था, वो आके कहता आई एम गॉड, ऐसे बोला. तो एक प्रभु जी थे, उनको गुस्सा आ गया, बोले यार दैट्स नॉट राइट. सो देन ही स्टार्टेड टॉकिंग, जो हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं ना, ही स्टार्टेड गिविंग हिम जर्नी ऑफ सेल्फ डिस्कवरी एंड ऑल द सॉर्ट थिंग. तो गाय वाज रियली एब्सोल्यूट नट केस, कहता नहीं, यू डोंट अंडरस्टैंड बट आई एम गॉड. तो काफी देर हो गया, आधा घंटा हो गया, फिर उसको भी लगा कि यार मेरे को जाना चाहिए. तो कहता आई हैव टू गो, वेयर इज द वॉशरूम? तो उसने बोला व्हाट डू यू मीन, यू आर गॉड, यू शुड नो वेयर द वॉशरूम इज. कहता है कि नो. फिर वो बहस करने लगे वापस. थोड़ी देर में उसको लगा कि इट्स नेचर कॉल था, पहले तो नेचर कॉल था, अब नेचर शाउट शुरू हो गया. ही गोस नो यार आई हैव टू गो, टेल मी. बोले अच्छा ठीक है, यू डोंट नो वेयर बाथरूम इज, बट यू आर गॉड, यू कैन कंट्रोल इट. गॉड इज अ कंट्रोलर, व्हाई कांट यू कंट्रोल इट? कहता है और नहीं, और एंड देन ही वाज स्टार्टेड बेगिंग. थोड़े टाइम बाद ही स्टार्टेड बेगिंग, प्लीज प्लीज प्लीज. तो बोले आई विल ओनली लेट यू गो इफ यू एक्सेप्ट दैट यू आर नॉट गॉड. तो उसने बोला नो आई एम गॉड. थोड़ी देर और रही, फिर उसे रहा नहीं गया. ओके ओके आई एम नॉट गॉड, प्लीज टेल मी वेयर द टॉयलेट्स आर. तो उसने बता दिया. ही वेंट टू द टॉयलेट एंड देन व्हेन केम बैक ही गोज, प्रभु जी गोज, ओह आई एम ग्लैड दैट नाउ यू अंडरस्टैंड दैट यू नॉट गॉड. कहता नो आई एम गॉड. बोले फिर अभी 2 मिनट पहले तो तुमसे यू कुडंट इवन कंट्रोल योरसेल्फ. कहता दैट वाज माय लीला, दैट वाज माय पास्ट टाइम. I mean, this is some people are absolute nutcase. They would have no, and the thing is, some like देखो हमारी जो life है ना, I mean, I talk a lot of jokes about husband and wife, but there are some jokes that are actually true as well. एक बार क्या हुआ, अकबर बीरबल में बहस हो रही थी, and Akbar was doing exactly what his wife was saying. तो बीरबल बोलता है कि देखो वो क्या, बीरबल के पास आके अकबर कहते हैं यार मैं ऐसा बीवी को गुलाम हूं ना, मेरी बीवी जो बोले वो ना करो, ऐसा हो ही नहीं सकता मेरे से यार कुछ. तो उसने बोला महाराज आप अकेले नहीं हो, पूरी दुनिया में सारे मर्द ऐसे ही हैं. मैं बोला बकवास, there must be someone who doesn't believe in, जो अपनी बीवी की बात नहीं मानता. बोला नहीं महाराज, डेफिनेटली कोई ऐसा नहीं है जो नहीं मानता हो. उन्होंने बोला चलो ठीक है, बुलाओ सारे जो पूरे राज्य के जितने भी मेल थे सबको बुलाया, और उनमें से बोला जो लोग अपनी बीवी की बात मानते हैं और उनकी बीवी की बात नकार नहीं सकते, गो ऑन द राइट. एवरीबडी मूव्ड एक्सेप्ट फॉर वन पर्सन. बीरबल बड़ा खुश हुआ क्योंकि सारे मूव हो रहे थे. अकबर बड़ा खुश हुआ, देख एक तो मिला है. बोले हाँ यार एक तो मिल गया. उसको बोला इधर आ, व्हाई डिडंट यू मूव? बोले मेरी बीवी ने बोला है जहां सारी पब्लिक जा रही है वहां नहीं जाना. Because we men think we are in control, Sometimes हमारी वाइफ कहती है ठीक है यार तुम ले लो मजे अभी. You can feel that you are Lord, do it. But ultimately we know we have very limited control over things. Now, who are we? अगर everything is God, so who are we? Like हम लोग, what is in our control? Like for example, at least my son is mine, but it's not. My son is not my property. My son is whose property? Krishna's, God's property. Who am I? I'm a caretaker. My wife, I'm the caretaker. That's not my property. My wife is not my property. And a lot of the times, all of us, we live a life where we think, हमारा जो partner है ना, it's an obligation of that partner to serve me. No, it is our duty to serve them. हमने discuss करा शुरू में, when we serve our partner, that's the only way we can be happy. And this goes, I'm not just saying husband to wife, I'm talking on both sides. कई बार, I've seen a lot of Indian families where husband works outside and wife takes care of the house, but when husband comes home, does not help out at all in the house. That's not, who does that? The people who think that I'm the proprietor, I'm the enjoyer. You're not. You're the caretaker. You're like that servant in the hotel who is eating really nice food, living in a nice place, but you are not independent. You're not the proprietor, you're not the enjoyer. You're actually the caretaker. मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ 99% problem solve हो जाए if we all think that I am not the boss, I am here to take care of my partner. I'm talking about both husband and wife, है ना? होता क्या है? Problem क्या होती है कि initially we used to use things, we used to use things and love people. अभी क्या हो रहा है उल्टा? We love things and use people. And it happens everywhere, हर जगह, घर में, बाहर, सब जगह. Now, who is Bhagwan? Sorry, what happened to the last point? So the last definition of God it's called Bhagwan. Okay? So tell me, what is Bhagwan? Okay. If I say Balwan, what is the meaning of Balwan?
Someone who has bal.
Power. And powerful. If I say Vidyawan, what does that mean?
Who has knowledge.
Who has knowledge. How about Dhanwan?
Who has dhan.
Wealth. So what is the common factor here? What is the common thing? Van. What is the meaning of Van then?
Holder.
Who possesses.
Yeah.
Who possesses. And Bhag ka matlab hota hai in Hindi, in Sanskrit, Bhag means opulence. Like opulence. Now I want you to tell me, we'll take another 5 minutes, but tell me what are the few opulences that we have, there are. Opulence matlab, people really love to have that. What kind of opulence? Anyone? Speak up.
Beauty.
Yes. Money and beauty. Money and beauty. What else? Character. Power. Yes. Strength. Yeah. Happiness is opulence? No, you can tell, but it's a side. It's not an opulence. It's a byproduct of one of the opulence. If you have money and if you have power, you will have happiness. I'm just kidding. It doesn't necessarily you will have happiness. What else? What is yes? Freedom. So if you have a lot of money, if you have a lot of power, most likely you're free to do a lot of things. So that is still a byproduct, but good. What else? Fame. Yes, that's good. So what are the three now? Beauty, wealth, fame, and power. Power. There are 4. Character is actually character is how you deal with this. We'll talk about that as well. So there are 4. What is the 5th one? Keep saying. Knowledge. Yes, knowledge is another, because these are the things we get attracted to. Okay. And the last one is, which is a little bit harder to guess. आपके पास ये सारी yes. Bhakti, yes. Bhakti actually, bhakti कहाँ से आती है? It comes from renunciation. So the next opulence is renunciation, which is आपके पास ये पांचों की पांचों opulence है, लेकिन you don't care about it. And the person who has all of these opulences in full is called God. ठीक है? So this is money. Like first opulence is money. There was this guy. London में there is a college. उसकी fees है around 2 million pounds a year. वो महंगा college. तो वहाँ पर this kid was his name was Kalpesh Desai. He was उसकी teacher ने पूछा कि whoever tells me who is the most worshipable Lord of the universe, if you tell me the name of the most worshipable person in the universe, I will give you 100 pounds. And she got 100 pounds note. Now she was Catholic. So the first person who was Scottish, he goes, Saint Patrick. Because he was Scotland, yeah? Saint Patrick. Goes, nah. Next. So this Irish guy goes, Saint Andrews. Teacher goes, no. Then this Kalpesh bhai. This Kalpesh raises his hand. And he goes, Lord Jesus Christ. He goes, wow, here you go. And उसको पता है कल्पेश तो इंडिया का है. तो जब क्लास खत्म हुई उसको बोला कल्पेश को इधर. What happened, man? Aren't you Hindu? Yes, I'm Hindu. Don't you believe in Krishna? Yes. So why did you say Jesus is the most worshipable? कहता, I know Krishna is the most worshipable, but business is business. Now, power. You know who is this? Muhammad Ali. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. कहता था, Muhammad Ali used to say, there is only one Ali, greatest of all. He used to say that. And then by the end, when he was older, he had Parkinson's. He could not even light the torch in the Olympic में उसको बोला था, he couldn't even do that properly. He was so frail, But when he was young, he used to say, there is only one Ali, greatest of all. Then when he was in his when he was dying, he actually said, there is only one Ali, the greatest of all fools. I was a fool to think that I have that power. Someone can have power, but how long? You can't have power forever. Anybody knows who this is? You guys would have no idea. I actually, I've only seen one of her movies. My mother made me watch this Chalti Ka Naam Gaadi? Yeah, I can't remember. I don't know.
Yes. Kishore Kumar.
Whatever, huh? And I reckon she's one of the most beautiful women ever existed in all cinemas. So there was a teacher who asked the students. Teacher goes, bolti hai, I am beautiful. What tense it is? Kid goes, past tense. So the beauty will fade. Beauty will definitely fade, Doesn't matter how beautiful you are, by the time you die, nothing will remain. Then the next comes knowledge. Knowledge is an opulence. Albert Einstein. There was a French model, supermodel, can't remember her name. She went on a date with Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein was married, but it was just like a, fake date where you win something and you get to have dinner with. So उसने बोला इसको, Albert Einstein को supermodel ने बोला, you know what? It would be awesome if we get married. Our kids will be so beautiful and so intelligent. You know what Albert Einstein said? अगर उल्टा हो गया तो? What if our kids have my beauty and your intelligence? And the next is fame. This guy was one of the most incredible orator. जब ये stage पे खड़ा होता था ना, it is said that even the dead people will start getting up and screaming. This is hypothetically. He used to say, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. And what happened? He got assassinated. Fame. ठीक है, John F. Kennedy को अभी हम जानते हैं, but there are too many famous people more famous than him. Then the last one is Warren Buffett. He's probably one of the most, the biggest philanthropist on the planet right now. ठीक है ना? Because the way he used to donate was incredible, because he had everything a human being wants, but he was happy to give it away. He was not attached to his wealth and all the sort of thing. He's not. So actually, we will stop here. The next thing that we're going to talk about is blind and reasonable faith. How we do that. So actually, it's 8:35. I'll stop here and ask if anybody has any questions or any comment. इतना सन्नाटा क्यों है भाई? No? Yes. Can you pass mic over there? But can you pass mic at the back, right at the back.
Guruji,
don't call me Guruji. Call me Brijesh. Yes, please ask me.
मुझे हमेशा ऐसे क्वेश्चन आता था कि मतलब मोरालिटी और पर्पस जो बोलते हैं मतलब I always feel मतलब felt कि मतलब this is like our created concepts to make our lives easier.
Better, हाँ.
मतलब जब universe, when we look at the universe and these things, so I always have this question.
Bring it closer.
I always have this question. Why are they required, or
why are
they actually exist?
What is required? Sorry, what is
morality?
Morality is why is it required? Okay.
Yeah. मतलब imagine this कि मतलब
कुछ नहीं होता.
I'd say in few million years, मतलब the galaxy and Andromeda they will collide and मतलब stars they मतलब nebula वो gases हैं वो bomb होते हैं stars planets होते हैं मतलब तो मतलब I always have this thought.
See, what is the purpose of all of this, huh?
हाँ मतलब कि हम जो purpose बोलते हैं, is it just to make our lives easier?
Yes. Very good point. Brilliant. I love it. The question is, one day we all will die, and there is a limit. अभी जो पृथ्वी है ना, there is only around 400,000 years left before Prithvi will collapse. Only 400,000 years. Na? But after that, what will happen? So what is the purpose? हम लोग को सबको मरना ही है. Then what's the point? है ना? What is this all about? Actually, there is a purpose of our life. आपको पता है, you as a person, you have a very specific role to play on this earth. There is nothing. We will study this later on. None of us are here as a coincidence. Like कई लोग होते हैं ना, they just sit in the corner and they die alone and nobody knows. Like like Parveen Bobby was dead. 15 days later, people found her body in the thing. What's the purpose? Nobody cared about her for the last 15 years of her life. What's the purpose? Actually, all of us have a very specific, very strong purpose. Whether we know it or not doesn't really matter. Now, the reason why we have all this morality, to make sure, दो reason है उसका. एक to make sure that we can live this life in a most easiest way as possible, more non-lethal way as possible. And second, the reason why we have morality is to understand what is the purpose of life. आपको पता है, the only reason that we are discussing this is because probably by the end of our 10th chapter, we will know what is the purpose of my life, what is the purpose of your life, what is the purpose of your life, what is the purpose of... You will all know. There is a reason, there is a very big story behind this madness. हमें लगता है ना कि it's all madness, what are we doing? It's not. Nothing is coincident. Every spoke is in a perfect order, at a perfect place, at a perfect time. We don't understand it right now, because when you see things from retrospectively, when you see things, then you will make sense. Okay, you know what? आपको मैं मेरा example देता हूँ. I was a very devout atheist, like इतना strong atheist. I used to stand on the assembly stage and he used to discourage people from, singing those pratna. Asato ma sadgamaya. I said, rubbish, this is rubbish. I used to say that I was a school captain, and one day my principal called me on the stage and took my badge off. You don't deserve it. I don't care. Because I was an atheist. Now, when I'm sitting here, now I know why I was an atheist. Because the research that I did, that journey that I had, that I took from being a devout atheist to where I am now. My purpose at that time was to be an atheist so that I can see what it is to be on the other side. Now, when I talk, there is no argument anybody can say right now against God that I have not done. Nothing. I've seen so many videos, even now I sometimes see it. Man, everything I've actually asked, these are all of the things argument I used to give. And that purpose, when I was going really down in my life, I was in a very bad company, I was doing a lot of stupid things. All of those things that I've done, that had purpose as well. Now I can, when someone is going on that line, I can easily guide them. कहते हैं कि I am such an imperfectionist. This is true. I'm imperfectionist. मैं बिल्कुल भी perfectionist नहीं हूँ. I used to think this is my weakness, but it's not. Because I am not a perfectionist, I am so forgiving. मेरे जो staff members कुछ गलती करते हैं ना, कोई नहीं यार, मैंने बहुत करी ऐसी गलती. I forgive you. तो क्या होता है? My relationship with my peers, my staff members, they are amazing because I'm so forgiving. Only because I was imperfect. If I was perfect, I have a friend who is a perfectionist. He does not forgive anyone. He lives his life miserably. And I'm really happy because as soon as you forgive, you don't carry that burden. So what I'm saying is, all of the things that are happening to us, there is a purpose. By the end of 10th chapter, you will know what is the purpose. But right now, for this discussion, morality is there for us to live this life to our fullest potential in a least lethal way, least destructive way as possible. Otherwise, what will happen is we will get into that argument of, I am better than you, you are better than him, he is better than her, and all those sort of things. And वो अभी भी करते हैं हम, but because we have a little bit of morality, we don't go and shoot people, technically, because we don't like them, because we have that morality. And वो भी हमारे पिछले जन्म से आती. We will talk about this in our 4th chapter as well. Okay? Does it make sense?
Yes.
Cool. Anybody else has any question? Yes.
क्वेश्चन तो नहीं है, लेकिन मैं अपना थॉट प्रेजेंट करना चाहता हूँ.
Even better. I don't have to think.
आज का जो लेक्चर था, हम उसमें गॉड की एग्जिस्टेंस को साइंस के थ्रू प्रूव करना चाहते हैं. सो आई वांट टू गिव जस्ट ऑन थॉट ऑन दैट थिंग. फर्स्ट थिंग इज दैट व्हाई वी आर ट्राइंग टू प्रूव गॉड्स एग्जिस्टेंस थ्रू साइंस. सो दिस इज माय थॉट कि वी आर अब्रॉड in an education society where everything has to be think through science, and everybody around us has a logical reasoning or some other factual reasoning to not prove God existence and non-existence. So let's put that on the side right now, right? Let's give it another look. कि इसे और किस तरह से देखा जा सकता है. आप जैसे शास्त्र की बात करते हैं, हमारे भगवत गीता की बात करते हैं. I'm reading भगवत गीता, so on the basis of that I'll just say one thing, and I think that's मैंने last time आपसे बात करी थी. तो अगर हम एक पर्पस मान लें भगवान का, एक पर्पस हम यहाँ से पिक करते हैं कि मानवता कल्याण. और मानवता कल्याण का मतलब है, हम सभी जानते हैं, there's a many reasons like you can do, how you can do good to others. So if we go by the very basics of that, and और जो भगवत गीता में लिखा हुआ पहले 2-3 चैप्टर्स में, I think it clears out. जैसे उसमें आत्मा की बात करते हैं, आपको कर्म योग की बात करते हैं, आपको ध्यान योग, संन्यास योग, all these things talk about. What are these things? And when these were said, long time back, we don't know whether it's said by God or not, but let's go with the idea कि वो जब भी कही गई थी, जब भी लिखी गई थी, it was said long back. They are practical, they are applicable. Only thing is that they require, जैसे आज आप बोल रहे थे, कि you need to give it a go.
Yeah, you need to decipher it.
You need to decipher it. और उसके लिए उन्होंने तरीके बता रखे हैं.
That's correct.
You can take it as a prescription.
That's correct.
And go out and do that. So isn't that enough for us to believe that if something is set so time back, आप किसी भी situation में हो, you can overcome that situation.
Yes.
If you follow those practices, not to reach to the God, not to get to that कि मैं God को feel करना चाहता हूँ, मैं अपना वो सब कुछ करना चाहता हूँ. Even those practices will bring out the best in you.
Beautiful. Very well said.
आप अपने anxieties, आप अपने जो future के बारे में सोच रहे हैं, all your materialistic associations, you leave all of that, you become a better self.
Beautiful.
So that's my thought.
That's it.
Another way of thinking.
Brilliant thought. And I think, thank you for sharing, Prabhu. It's really, pass on to Mataji here. So it is really true. And the reason what I'm saying is, we all are on a different stages of our own progress. है ना? हम लोग अलग अलग stages में हैं. We all have our own progress. हम सबका एक path है, हम सबका एक progress है. वहीं उसी मेरी wife, she is on a spiritual path, but she is on a different stage of in her life. So that's why we have to present it in a different way so that it makes sense to larger amount of audience. But thank you for sharing that. Really appreciate it. Yes.
So today we were discussing कि हर चीज़ का एक purpose है, हर चीज़ का एक cause है और like we are in this space तो हम scientists कहते हैं कि everything in this space has a reason.
Yes.
But there's no reason for a universe.
Yes.
So what is the reason for the universe?
Yes. आपको पता है ये जो आप पूछ रहे हो क्वेश्चन है इसके पीछे 18,000 वर्सेस लिखे जा चुके हैं श्रीमद् भागवतम के. टॉक्स अबाउट ओनली व्हाई दुनिया बनाने वाले क्या तेरे मन में समाई काहे को दुनिया बनाई. व्हाई इज द यूनिवर्स क्रिएटेड. द यूनिवर्स वाज आई विल गिव यू इन अ वेरी नटशेल एंड इफ एनीबॉडी हैज एनी क्वेश्चन वी विल टॉक इन द प्रसादम टाइम. द रीजन व्हाई द गॉड क्रिएटेड दिस इज लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल मेरा बेटा है ही वांट्स टू ड्राइव द कार. I can't let him drive the car. He's too young. So what I do, अगर मुझसे जिद करता है, I'll take him to Luna Park. He can sit on these little cars, his own cars, and he can just do bump करेगा इधर उधर, and he will think that he's driving the car. So this world, we were happily living with God. Then what happened is one day we wanted to enjoy like God. We wanted to be God, and God said, look. That's not your position. Your position is like the way you feel happiness is different to how I feel happiness. You feel happiness because only when you serve. But if you become God, then it's harder for you to serve because you won't be able to serve, so you won't have happiness. We said, no, we want to become God. So then He has to create this material world, this universe, as a Luna Park and drop us there. Okay, jao, pretend you're God. That's why we all want to be God. You know, husband wants to be god of the wife, wife wants to be goddess of the husband. You know, Sasuma wants to be goddess of, Bahu wants to be lord of Sasuma. Why? Because इसको कहते हैं प्रभुत्व. You know, देहात में बुद्धि, देह से related बुद्धि. That means there is a reason why this world was created so that we can go and practice here. Okay, you want to enjoy being Prabhu, being God, go and try. यहाँ पर हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं? We all are trying to become God. अपने बच्चों को मार दिया, झापड़ मार दिया. How dare you spoke to me like that? क्यों मारा? Because my ego got hurt. Where is the ego coming from? Because I think I'm God. I don't want anyone else to think any otherwise. And that is why God created this world. It's very complicated, but मैं बिल्कुल short में आपको बता रहा हूँ. And this is the purpose of this world is so that we can understand what is the purpose and how we can go back. This is the purpose. Okay. We'll talk more if you have any more questions. Okay. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare